anymore. I'm getting to the point, is irritate me to the point where I'm just going to go, I'm going to go live on YouTube and call this person out and just say, if you, and here's my thing on top of it too, is like, men nowadays, in my opinion, this is not for the women, but men are not men. I mean, for the most part, if you have a problem with someone, go to them, talk to them, and say, hey, talk to them. Nowadays we want to get behind a keyboard, and of course, I tell them keyboard gangsters that won't even have a conversation, ain't got the ball sack to even have a conversation with somebody. So I've told people before, I said, say it to my face, because I guarantee you, you won't. Trust me, you won't. But is what is. Today, yesterday we were going to deal with, keyboard cowboys, or keyboard thugs, whatever. I call them, what really pisses them, the SEO people off, is I call them armchair SEOs. They're academic SEOs. That's it. Nevertheless, yesterday we were going to go over our GMB post, and then we brought on Lane, and he went through quantum. We're going to go through quantum today too. Maybe tomorrow, but specifically we're going to go through GMB posts and how I do GMB posts. How do I keep track of everything? That way you can kind of see my methodology. Let me get all these windows open for y'all. But Lou put me in a good mood, so versus being in a bad mood.
Thanks, Lou.
I got it. And guys, let's go for 100% mute tonight while William's talking. Let's just try. All right. It's the button on the bottom left.
You just want that discount on that lead gen course he's coming up with.
I forget who, someone sent me an email and said, it's the grumpy old man. Please, can we mute everybody? And believe it or not, for me, it is annoying. It is annoying, not because I don't like it. It's annoying because I can't even stand noise. I don't even like tick, 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 tick. Only type of noise I used to like was poker chips when I used to play poker. That's about it. I can't stand any type of noise. Let's pull up. All right.
Hey, William, can someone still join this class? Because I was telling them about it.
Yep, they could still join it. Just have them email me, send me the link, and I will let them join. No problem. If you're going to ask questions, make sure you raise your hand. I will allow you to speak at that time, but from this point on, everyone is muted. Don't want to piss off any old grumpy men, so just teasing with you guys. All right, let's go ahead and do a screen share. All right, so see my screen? Thumbs up. All right, so this is Canva. It's your best friend. If you don't have Photoshop, even if you have Photoshop, I'd probably still tell you use Canva. So overall, I mean, if I'm going to do a GMB post, I'm going to show y'all a couple of things. Can you see my spreadsheet? No. Okay, let me show you my spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is going to be dropped into the group as well. Basically, I got columns of social media posts, your date, your topic, your image link, your GMB link. I keep all this information in a nice little spreadsheet. So whenever I go to do my press releases, or I do my backlinking, or I do my Black Hat stuff, I have a place where it's all stored. That way I don't have to go scrambling saying where the hell is everything. All right. So this is step one. This is going to be in the back of the group. You will download this. Once you download it, you can edit it, do whatever whatever you want with it. Right? You could add columns, specifically what Lane was talking about yesterday for the image links. That's what this column is for. What topic are you going to be covering? You may not want to do residential. You may only want to be doing commercial services, or you may want to do a mix of both, or you may want to focus on a specific topic for, let's say, the month of January or the month of February. So, and I'll have everything dated here. I mean, you could add in multiple columns if you want, but this is my basics, okay? Now we have that. For instance, let's go over to some posts I've already done, and I'll show you those. So this is for, once again, clearly eye care. So for this one right here, you'll see the learn more link is going over to Bitly. And I even have the Bitly linked here. We have two. We have this one here and we have this one here. Book online here. Let's click on the book online here and show you what happens. It's going to take you over to Round Rock contact lens fitting, because this post is about Round Rock wearing a mask, eyeglasses, contact lenses, you know, so the whole thing, you have the keyword in here, contact lenses, the image, etc. So what would I do in this case? So in this case, you can see this one's viewed it's posted yesterday, 6 views, 14 views, 16 views, 16 views, 14, 18, 21, 30 views. This is why when people tell me views don't matter, posting daily don't matter, I think it's a crock. 37 views, 25 views, besides the fact I could show you my graph from when they were 45 views, 44 views. Right. So, but nevertheless, so you see all the views, you see everything. How do I create this nice little beautiful thing here? So let's go over here. Let's go. You could do a couple of things. If we wanted to, we create the post, but here's the link. Here's this link. So if I wanted to share this right here, this is actually, this one right here is going to the G page. If I was to click on this, learn more, I have this one linked to the actual CID. See what I was talking about earlier the other day. So you don't have to necessarily have these going to deep pages. Deep page one day, and then a CID page another day. This one's going to G page, G page. This was going to Bitly link. This was going to Bitly link. I've seen people put both the Bitly link and the G page in it. I just do it. I rotate things, especially for her. She has 6 days a week we post for her. So how would I save this post so I can backlink to it? Not the learn more link, but the actual post. I share post. Here's the link. Copy that link. Paste it in here. What was the topic? In the same sense when you're doing it, this is your Round Rock optometrist. Round Rock optometrist. Your topic on this one is optometrist. So I will put that there. What's your image link? Like he was showing you yesterday. If I could pull this open, I doubt I will. View, there we go. Let me view it. So here's the post. If I actually wanted to grab this image, right? You see it? You just see the image. You could right click on the image. And once you right click on that image, you can hit copy image or copy and you copy it, and then I paste it back into my spreadsheet. And open. So now I have the image link. All right, and I have the GMB link. Any questions so far? Raise your hand. Go ahead.
Why do we need the GMB link and the image link?
Why would you use it? Were you in the class yesterday?
I was in the class yesterday, but I didn't hear why.
Okay, so the image link, for instance, you could take this image link and you can drop it into your press release that you're going to use on Quantum. I don't know about other, press release platforms, but specifically with Quantum, I could copy that image and drop it into that press release, which also does increase GMB signals. The GMB link, why do I want to use the GMB link? Well, here's another one. For instance, if you watch the other classes, you can backlink to anything that has a URL link, right? So why you're creating backlinks to your website, it's the same reason why you're going to create them to your GMB. The only difference is the reason why I do it is I'm trying to create click-through manipulation, click-through rate manipulation. So I'm going to try to backlink and send as many local people as I possibly can to anything to do with my GMB links, GMB posts, create dwell time, and some other things. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah.
I have a question related to that. So I understand what you were saying about using that image in Quantum. For that image, is there any other place other than that we should be like actually inserting that image? Where else? What other?
I mean,
place?
you can, but
or is that pretty much it?
in your, what we'll go over later is cloud stacking, and you can do it in cloud stacking, and then you can also do it in some other stacking methods. Like he's talking about your press release stacking, where you take your previous press release and link it to it, and then link the next one. Kind of similar, but this is another reason why I use the spreadsheets, because you're not going to remember once you've done 30 of these what links were where and what they were about or nothing. So this is a way in which you can organize it. For instance, today is that day that was posted, let's say was the 10th. And then the next day you have another post. The only thing like for instance with me, I can't do is I can't schedule my GMB post because of the fact that I obviously use a VA. I do not use software or anything like that. Now, if you are using Vendasta, which is a product you can get from Lane as well, and then also there are many other platforms, and there are other free platforms and everything that you can do. You can actually schedule your posts, right? You could go so far as, let's say, not only do I want the topic, I can add in another column here, and we'll insert a column, and we're going to call this text or copy, right? And then that way you can use the same copy as well across. Give me 1 second. You can use the same copy in Facebook, Instagram, and turn it up a little bit, but not make it any, not like crazy different, but not the exact same thing. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just looking here. Can you brand all your photos with a website or phone? Yes, you can. There are different photos for different purposes. Like uploading GMB photos, totally different than, if you will, GMB posts. GMB posts are not the same thing as GMB photos. So when we upload photos, it's going to be a different, totally different tactic altogether. So let me go back here. we're going to open up Canva. Any other questions? Canva has a free account. They also have paid accounts. Paid accounts are different things you get, videos and all this jazz you could do. You can, yep, you can reuse photos. And generally speaking, after let's say 60 days worth of posting, you don't necessarily have to create 60 more new days of content. Incorrect. For instance, and I mean, I know what you mean. The posts are no longer go dark after 7 days. For instance, a lot of people used to say they're live for only 6 days, therefore they're no good. Why would you be posting them every day? Well, those posts also fill up your GMB business site. So that's the other reason I want to do it. And I could show you, give me 1 second. If you go into the updates, and all that information gets dropped into your GMB website. So that's why for me, it's just very important to keep constantly putting content in there. Okay. Let me go over to Canva. I'll pull that up for y'all so we can maybe create one together. If you have questions, you know, let me just raise your hand before blurting anything out and just ask. Yeah, Andy.
Just in terms of creating your, do you have your VA do it, or
VA?
All right.
You gotta understand with me, if first 2 weeks they come on board, it's free training. After they're trained, during those first 2 weeks, depending on what I have them doing, we make sure that they're doing it in accordance the way I want it done versus the way just, hey, I'm coming in and I'm a social media manager and I do it the hell way ever they want, because everybody has the ways they want to do things. Like, that's why I find it laughable when an SEO says, oh, you're copying me. It's like, really? It's SEO, brother. It's like social media. I mean, it's like, just don't, plagiarize somebody. So the VA will come in and do it, create the content, post on a daily basis. If you have one of the programs, a beautiful thing about the program, I mean, in my mind, as a small business owner or small agency, if you don't have VAs, you can literally go in, let's say on a Saturday, if you have, let's say 4, because I used to do this. I did this for about, 30 clients. So I'd take a Saturday and just all day Saturday, create my posts and schedule every one of them, via the program I was using at the time. I'm trying to think of the name of the program, but there's quite a few. But nevertheless, let's see. Naos, you have another question, buddy?
Yes, I wanted to ask you for the spreadsheet. You are copying also the text that you're using in the post?
Yes, and I'm going to be uploading this spreadsheet into the back end of the group. So,
and something else, and you're writing in the first column, you write whether it's a Facebook post, Instagram, or GMB, right?
This one is specific, is just for, and I'll show you, is just for GMB. Thank you. Yeah, Hootsuite's what I used to use. I was trying to think of them. Give me 1 second and I'll show you this real quick. So on the spreadsheet, you could do it one or two ways. The way I would honestly suggest, if you're going to use it for Instagram, Facebook, etc., is down here in the bottom left, you can add another sheet and separate your Instagram from your Facebook, from your GMB. That way, when you're coming in here trying to get your links for backlinking, you don't have to go here and go, which one's Instagram, which one's GMB, which one's, you don't have to sort through it all. And I know there are ways to sort, and I do it all the time, but I would just personally rather, because I'm anal retentive about some things, I'd rather have a sheet and call the sheet, if you will, Facebook. The next one let's say Instagram, and so on and so forth. But I care about GMB. I could give a shit about these other platforms right now, honestly, especially Facebook. So, but nevertheless, this sheet will be in the back of the group. And Hootsuite is one. There's a bunch of other ones. Nash uses Cloud Campaign, Social Bee. Never used those. I've just mainly used Hootsuite. There was one other one. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, go ahead, Naos.
What I wanted to ask is, does it matter if we have the same content in the, like, let's say in Cloud Campaign, I'm going and do one post and I can do it Facebook, Instagram, Google. Does it matter if it's the same content, or do I have to differentiate in all three of them?
In my opinion, for instance, there are things that matter more on Instagram than on Facebook. And there are things that you can do on Instagram that you shouldn't be doing on Facebook. For instance, I know if you use more than, let's say, I believe it's around 5 or 6 hashtags on Facebook can get you soft banned. And take it from someone that's been banned, repetitively, just try not to, there's so many rules with Facebook anyways. But like, for instance, Facebook, more than 4 or 5 hashtags can get you soft ban. A soft ban basically means none of your friends see your stuff. You're posting, no one's seeing it, no engagement, no nothing, because they're basically sandboxing you just like Google does. Instagram, you can only use, you can use quite a bit more number of hashtags. But then, your text has to be set up different. Your links have to be set up different because your links aren't clickable, depending on how many followers you have, etc. Then on Twitter, shorter links, you really can't use the same content because people aren't going on Twitter to quote unquote read content. They're going to want to see, just a short blurb, click on it and go to it. Images work pretty well on Twitter as well, believe it or not. The one that I'm pushing more of everybody to, because yes, I'll wind up getting my Facebook back up. Yes, I'll wind up friending a bunch of people, getting more business off of it, big whoop-de-doo-dah. And then I'll build up my list some more, but I'm pushing everybody off of Facebook towards my group in Facebook and then LinkedIn. Where else would I get backlinks from? We'll be going on totally different classes. It's probably going to be a series of classes because we'll go over some black hat SEO techniques. We'll go over backlink stacking, et cetera, and some high DA backlinks, blog sharing, some tools I use, tools I don't use, stuff like that. So, but nevertheless, keep on topic here. So you can set up these separate sheets. I have them in the bottom here. I just don't use them. I'm not going to use them mainly because it's not my purpose for ranking a GMB. You can, the most I would tell you to honestly do that you should be doing, depending on your audience, is going to be Facebook and it's going to be LinkedIn. Older generation is on Facebook. Newer generation is on Instagram, TikTok. I was talking to someone the other day about Facebook. They're in, let's say, remember he was 16, 17. Are you on Facebook? No, I ain't on Facebook. Why aren't you on Facebook? Facebook's for old people. And that's, go ahead, Andy.
So when it comes to the actual text and copy, do you put keywords in the copy?
Correct. And if you look at the copy, and I'll show it to you again. Yeah, I laughed when I was like, old people seriously use Facebook. I must be ancient. But so here is our post. You go to our post, like this one's about optometrist, and it says when it comes to scheduling preventative healthcare appointments, eye exams are often overlooked because the keywords I'm mainly going off over for her mainly are eye exams, optometrist, or eye care doctor. But you'll
And
see.
do you the city or, you know, the location?
No, I do not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It all depends. I mean, it just depends, honestly. I'll get to your questions in a second, but basically you'll see mainly I focus on like keywords: cataract surgery, optometrist, your frames, contact lenses. And I'm doing this for a purpose right now. If you actually look at her search engine console, her branding is going up mainly because I'm slapping it in there every time I'm going through it. I'm slapping clearly I care, clearly I care, clearly I care, clearly I care. Trying to get those signals boosted up. And then once I'm done with that, then I'll start hitting on some other locations and stop using just the name as much and just slap logos in here. Sometimes you could do the logos, and different clients will do logos. Sometimes we'll just put the, you know, the website address in here. Can you see my Canva screen? Okay, so Canva, beautiful thing about Canva is, for instance, once you start using it, if I wanted to do another review, I already have one in here. Let's say Google reviews. I just click on it. And it's already got it created with. So all I got to do is change this out. I can show you how easy this is. So this is already in here. If I wanted to delete that, I delete that. Let's say I go over here and I go to reviews. Awesome. There's a great review there. I want to save it, and I just go snag this little thing right here, copy it, and I go back into Canva and I paste it. Done. And then I hit download over here, or publish direct to Facebook. You can publish direct to Facebook from this if you wanted to. I don't necessarily do that, but you hit download and you can save it and you're done. Now, let's say we want to go to, we don't have anything, we're starting from fresh, and, you know, we have nothing, you know. You got a couple of ways we could do this. You could go to social media over here. You got Instagram posts, Facebook posts. And the reason why I like this is it's already saved and already created the size you need, because there are various sizes. And this is another reason why you don't want to quote unquote create the same post inside of a program or platform and just say, hey, let me use the same image for every single one of them. Well, the same image size is not going to work on GMB, is not going to work. Well, GMB really, it's totally different, but Instagram specifically, Facebook is another one, TikTok, and all these other ones. But in your Facebook cover, you can, if you use what I was doing, but can get you, like I've told you, eliminated after you start making some pretty decent money, is a Facebook cover. You start doing Facebook covers and optimizing your Facebook covers, depending on how many haters you wind up getting, will depend on how long you wind up lasting on Facebook and having to recreate an account. But you can go in here and you can create a Facebook cover with Canva. I'm sorry I'm showing you all this. It doesn't have to do with necessarily GMB, but if we're already in here, might as well show you everything. So this is a cover size. It's automatically set up to be the correct cover size. You could choose, let's say it was for a store, or, you know, let's say it's for a workout place or whatever. You can click on this image. I can change this text simply by text. It's not hard at all. If I wanted to change the image, I just click on the image and I hit delete. If I wanted to move the image, I can blow it up, shrink it down. It's not really that difficult to do inside Canva. I can, if I wanted to add text on the left-hand side, it says text. You click on it. What type of text you want? I want a heading. It drops a heading in there and you can type it up. You select it. You can choose the colors, the sizes, all that jazz up here. It's just a very easy platform, and it's honestly not that expensive. If you go to the pricing page, you have free, pro, enterprise, and so on and so forth. I think they're pro. Yeah. For me, you're talking $100 a year or $100 a month, if you will. I'm sorry, not 100 a month. I'm pesos here. $100 a year. But
Well, you have an education account, you can get all that pretty much for free.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, depending on who you are. So you could, I mean, and you could take your logo, you can upload over here, you go uploads, and let's say if, yeah, this was one I was going to give a Facebook timeline. I love them. That's why they hate me so much, but whatever. But nevertheless, you could do this. Then once you're done, you just hit download, and that's the image, right? Now, let's say you don't know, it's a Saturday, you're making all the images, and you need a place to store them. Another thing we can do on our Google Sheet here is, can you see my sheet? Raise your hand if you can see my sheet. Can't see the sheet? Let me share the sheet again so you can see it. So another thing we could do on the sheet is when we go to upload the images, you could upload them on, let's say, Dropbox or Google Drive. And then you could save the image here as a Google Drive image. What's the drive link for the image? So that way, I don't necessarily have to, get rid of the, I can not just put it on my computer, I could put it in Google Drive or Dropbox. And then on top of it, if I really wanted to, I could also use those images, store them in my Google Drive, and use them for some cloud stacking as well. But that's not the main reason I want you to do it. If you do it, you can also say, well, here's the image. And whenever you give all this information to the VA, you can give them the text, the copy, where the image is at, all this information, right? And they can actually schedule the post for you. Then the only thing they're going to have to do is save the image link and save the GMB link when they actually do the post. The other reason I don't do software, I'll give you another reason. Another reason, for instance, I need these GMB links now. When you use a software, for the most part, you got to wait till after the fact to get that link. And I want the link now. That way, as soon as it's posted, I can start doing some backlinking towards it. Go ahead, Harley. Got a question, Harley? Yeah.
On the Facebook photo that you were putting on there, should you put the keyword in, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter, not to me. I'm going for the text. I haven't seen it matter. Now, if for GMB specifically, GMB can tell based upon, their AI can detect, let's say, I've seen them detect, let me put it this way. I've seen them detect logos, and I've seen them detect URLs inside of a GMB post. I haven't seen them in even location. If you have a picture outside, or let's say a side view of your building, and you might not necessarily see it's the front of your building, they can detect sometimes if it's your actual building and then upload it onto your photos. That's why when people say, geolocation and geotagging doesn't work, I understand what they're saying, but I also understand I've seen certain things that make me think otherwise. So let's go ahead. I'm going to save that. So you can have Google Drive link image. If you want to do it that way, you can do it that way. I'm not necessarily going to say it's mandatory. The most important things are going to be the topic, your text copy, your image link, your GMB link. Where you store your, and this is specifically if you're using a VA too, and you're doing it and you just want to give your VA your calendar for 30 days and say, hey, post this stuff for me. It's Anthony. He's going to talk today.
Hey, just wondering which ones of those links are you shooting? Like, I know you're using them in the press releases, but which links are you using, like other campaigns? You say like Money Robot or SEO Autopilot, or
the GMB link and the CID link. Specifically, this GMB link is going to be your post. This is your GMB post link, and I would share to that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Let me save that, make sure it's saved. All right, so let's go on to another one. Stop share, and let's go back to our screen here on Canva. So this is one, you know, I'm just saying, for example, you download it and then you can go in there and post on Facebook. You can post on, let's do another one. We can go into Instagram. Let's say we wanted to do an infographic. They have all that jazz in here, but you know, you got so much stuff in here. It's ridiculous. You could do a video in here, their video animation. It might not be quote unquote, you know, top-notch video, but what I'm going to wind up using the videos for, it's perfect because I'm going to be using it specifically for click-through rate manipulation and some other things. So, which I'll go over that method in a separate course, separate class too. So, but social media, for instance, you go Instagram post, and it's set up to be the specific size for Instagram. If you didn't want to actually use one of their posts, right? Some cool things I like about it is, like, you know, there's positive saying stuff. It already has some. You can come in here and grab it and just change the saying, put your image here, whatever. It's already laid out kind of for you. You know, if you wanted to start with a blank canvas, you can do that and just, you know, upload a photo and just choose a photo like I told you I was going to do for the nice little Facebook the other day. But you could go, let's say you have elements or audio and you want to have a button added onto a photo, so you can put some text in there that says click here for more information. You can do that as well. Even though Facebook and everybody knows you can't click there and get more information, you can click on it. When they do, they're going to see your if you will, your description for that image, and you can put a link in there, especially on Facebook. Just, you know, Facebook doesn't like that sort of stuff. So but honestly, I mean, this is basic, all you do. And then I go in here on GMB, and today we'll post, you know, and you'll create a post on your GMB. And I mean, it's pretty simple, you know. Use your, and then you, on top of, you know, beside your regular post, you can do the offers. You know, what type of offer you're going to give. Let's say today I have an offer and it's for a restaurant in specific, you know, today's, you know, Tuesday tacos or whatever, or Taco Tuesdays. And then you get, or buy one, get ones, which people love, or, you know, just depends. Whatever you're running, you can add the photo here, what's your offer, when's the start date, when's the end date, publish it. If you want to add more details, you can add more details in here. You can add a link to redeem your offer. You can add a coupon code, offer details, terms and conditions. Is this a one-time offer? You know, or is it, I'm not a one-time, but a timed offer. In other words, like, especially you'll see this where you have just until midnight to respond, and that's it. But then you have what's new. Under what's new is where you're going to have your posts, right? And we'll take, and we can drag and click on the image, you know, the photo icon image, go to pictures, grab on camera roll, grab your image, you'll upload the image. Once you write your image, then you can write your post in here. Your button that you're going to want, and I always tell people, is going to be learn more. Learn more. And then once they learn more, I link it over to generally either the GMB or Bitly, depending on where we're at. Like, this is the G page or the business page, depending. And let's see, Jarek, go ahead, buddy.
The question I have is there a difference between regular posts and so there was COVID updates. What was the second one? I can't remember. It was,
yeah, I'll pull it for you real quick. You have COVID updates, you have offers.
Yeah, is there a difference between offers and regular posts as far as
yes,
you know, number of times that Google's going to show them or anything, or no difference?
The offer can stay on there. I've seen, I mean, when I've done offers stay on there longer than a post. You know, you can run an offer for days on end. A post only going to stay up there, you know, for 6 to 7 days, and then it quote unquote goes dark. And then, you know, but I also still would say that information goes on your business site. But adding an update is where you put your post, where it says.
Do you recommend doing an offer, let's say once a week or so, or?
Yes. I mean, if it was me, depending on the client and depending on what they, you know, is this honestly with that, it's going to depend on them more than it is going to be me. I specifically use it for, you know, just making sure, A, we got content going out, and then on top of it, it helps increase the GMB signals and everything else. So let me pull this up real quick and I'll show you a couple of things. If I could pull this photo views, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to see it. There we go. Here we go. Like I've shown you all this before. I'm pretty sure this is all legit, not. And this was in the other group before when I was still in it. This is photo views for when we first started. Businesses like hers were getting 550. Her businesses are getting 487. And this was as of yesterday. Businesses like hers getting 520. Her business getting 1,700 views. So that's why I say I know views work. Because I've seen it's not just my data. I've seen it on other people in the group. Whenever I post it, it's like everybody stays silent, but the moment you put a screenshot of yours, they go, "Oh, feel free. I can talk against what everybody's saying," because everybody says it doesn't work, and then you have a couple of us that say yes, it does. So I'm going to open it up to some questions. I mean, really, that's what I do as far as my GMB posts. Then now we have the links and everything. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a press release with y'all so we can actually go through it together and do it. Because what we'll also do with those press releases, once you see it, you'll see that it creates a report. And that's the other good thing. You can give those reports to your clients and say, hey, here's where your press release went out to. You know, here's all the different backlinks. And then those backlinks, I will then put on a separate spreadsheet as well. And then we can use those to backlink to as well. Yes, Devon?
Yeah, so my question had to do, you were mentioning with Canva posts before and how they're separate, or I should say GMB posts and how they're separate from photos. And it seems like you typically use Canva images for your GMB posts. So is it that photos are mainly just for like job site images?
Photos are mainly, photos are supposed to be, for instance, if I'm a roofer, I'm on the job, I take a picture before, after, maybe the cleanup process. I'm not leaving nails out on your damn driveway, stuff like that, or a sign. It's going to be legitimate pictures versus me just posting a social media post. That's the biggest difference. So those posts need to be legit. And even sometime with the posts on Facebook, and this also depends on how many people, I mean, your competition, if they don't like you, you can report a post. Just like in Facebook, you can have people that can go to your post, and I'll show you. And I've had clients have this happen. I'll show you. And it's not, I mean, it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. It's competition. Let me pull this and I'll show you, because I was just showing someone this yesterday. If you go over to your post, these three little dots over here, report post. And people do that all the time to their competition, or if they think they'll say they're violating. For instance, the one I was doing yesterday was for a specific CBD oil, which is not a violation, or CBD tests, or marijuana test, testosterone test, stuff like that. And they try to say it was a violation, and they get them reported. Nothing you can do about it except keep retrying, because you got people that are just haters. So any other questions from you? And I'll go to the next one, Devon. Okay, I'll get you, Andy, but I want to go to Sean.
No problem.
So, William, with I thought we were supposed to have regular content. Does Canva, because you're altering that image that you're posting? Remember, you're saying you don't like stock photos. They don't like stock photos.
Well, you can't know. So, for instance, my stock photos, I don't want to upload on my just GMB. Now here's two ways I do it. I know what you're talking about. So on my GMB post, what I prefer is this. When I have a client, I go, can you send me some images? And as you know, most people know, most of them ain't got no damn images. I'm lucky if I get 10 images from out of 100, I might get 10 clients that have them, maybe. So I'll use stock photos. But the problem with using stock photos is you will get reported sometimes, and Google sometimes doesn't like it, and they'll reject them, and then you have to repost. Now, preferably, what I prefer is I prefer actual photos and everything from the client or from a job, specifically a job site where you're actually doing the job, like a roofer or a plumber, mainly because people like that sort of thing. And they're going to watch it more often than they are just going, they're going to see a stock photo and sometimes they're not even going to look at it.
Okay. I just thought, because if you use a stock photo and you alter it in Canva, that would actually not be an original. So that would throw off the dynamic.
I mean, I'll put the text and stuff in there, and that may be why most, if you look on, I don't ever really have, the only ones I ever have had rejected is going to be in two spammy industries that I work in, because I work with locksmith and garage door repairs. And those are the only ones I ever get rejected. And they're not all rejected all the time. So it's telling me that someone's reporting them. But these, like with Clearly Eye Care, I put the logo of Clearly Eye Care on it. I'll put the term Round Rock in there. Sometimes you'll see it. Sometimes I actually put the keyword on the photo, etc. I almost always put the domain name, the website link, even though it's not clickable, because I have been able to see where Google has been able to pick up the phone number, the logo, and all that data with their AI. The thing you don't see me doing is I don't put my actual ad copy inside of Canva. My ad copy is separate. And what I mean by ad copy is your actual post content. It's your actual, if you will, when it says you go into Google, and I'll show you one more time on GMB. When you go into your GMB to write your post, right here where it says write post under what's new, add your image, write your post. I'll write my post here, you know, whatever, you know, that I want to write about. I put it there, and then my learn more link, and then I choose the link I want it to go to, all that. But that's where my text goes. My text doesn't go in the actual image, even though you will see me put like this, Round Rock contact lens fitting.
Yeah, right? It's like Facebook doesn't like you to put so much content on top of images, right? But they have that, whatever that thing that checks it.
There are, like, Facebook, I have people ask me about all the time, but the thing is, Facebook has so many rules that pretty much they've got it set up. When you sign up for Facebook, if they don't want you on there, you're gone. It's that simple. They have people that spend millions of dollars a year. They take them off for whatever stupid reason, because if you're giving me millions of dollars a year, you're going to post wherever the hell you want. But they could go, well, I don't like it because of this. And I don't post anything political. I don't post anything religious. It's always about SEO and GMB, always. So there's no real reason, rhyme or reason to anything they do. They don't like you putting images, like when you do ads specifically, because I've run ads for Facebook before. I don't run ads anymore whatsoever. You know, Paul's saying they removed the 20% rule 2 months ago. It's a free for all now. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But when I've tried to run ads on Facebook, for instance, specifically the ones I used to do was marijuana and CBD oil ads. And then the other one was the big one that I ran for was for a 2 comma award winner in ClickFunnels, was for a gym. And you can't post images that say, hey, you need to go to the gym. You know, you're fat, or you're out of shape, or hey, are you tired of being out of shape? You can't even say that sort of thing. If you post an image of someone in shape, you could be, they don't like that. You know, so you had to try to figure out ways around all that. And the only way I was able to do it is you never show quote unquote full body images and stuff like that to quote unquote make people feel, I guess, like they need to go to the gym or they're out of shape or whatever. And even with Clearly Eye Care, I had an ad rejected, and all it was was one, hey, you need new eyeglasses. Seriously. So I literally just took an image of Ralphie May from the Christmas Carol, put it up there with his broken glasses, and then that one passed it. And I was using that one for click-through rate manipulation. Yep.
It's a Christmas story, not a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, Christmas story. There you go. And actually,
remember I told you I was in it.
Yeah, I remember that one. That's why I was like, I'm about to say that. You know, I told my mom, I said, you know the guy from Christmas Story or whatever? I said, he's actually on my freaking Facebook. And I was like, it's unbelievable. My mom loved that damn movie. We used to watch it all the time. It was like sticking his tongue on the ice. All right, go ahead, Andy.
So 2 questions. Do you ever create content that's based on certain themes? So like you're going for additional engagement. I've seen some of these social media discussions where you want to ask questions or create posts that create engagement on the page.
I'll tell you what I used to do on Facebook. And this is when honestly, this is when I really started gaining a lot of traction, was 6 months ago. In a lot of the groups, this is where jealousy comes into play. So you got to be really careful with a lot of what I will tell you in regards to Facebook. Okay. None of it's quote unquote wrong. It's just you get people that don't like you. So you go into groups, and I used to go into groups all the time, and I just comment, give information. Y'all know this. And I'll come in and I'll make an offer. I'll give comments, and I'll get 40, 50 comments. The most I've gotten in the group in the past, let's say 2 months, was over 300 comments, legitimate comments, not bots. And the other moderators and other people in the group will get jealous and start hating because they'll come in there and do a similar post, nothing different. And they'll get 10 comments. Now, what I was doing with Facebook as well was I would go, for example, I would put an image of my $350 web design or my offer for SEO. And then I'd put that one up. And then right after I put that one up, 3 hours later, I put another one that says, hey, do y'all like taking hot showers or cold showers? Just to get engagement. And what had happened is everybody comes on there and they see that question because it pops up in their feed, and they start answering it. And I would get 100+ comments on something idiotic like that. But then out of those 100-something comments, they go, oh, let me see what else he has. And they scroll down on my feed. And then I would start getting comments on, let's say, my website design ad that I also had up there that was right underneath of it. I stack them. I'd put one that was quote unquote my actual pitch, and then one that was for engagement. And then I also have another thing that I would do when I was doing specifically Facebook is it's called, and it's from John Vaughn's tools. And I'm waiting on my software to be set up because I'm actually a founding member of one of his founding members, but it's called Engagement Monster. And with Engagement Monster, if you were in the agency course, you would see Engagement Monster based upon if that post on your feed had a bunch of thumbs up or crying tears or laughs or mad. Depending on that, my Engagement Monster would go in there and say, like, for instance, it would tag Andy, say, hey, Andy, you're probably a really funny guy in real life. Just based upon there's a bunch of laughs on your comment. And then you're tagged, so you're going to go in there and say, who's this William guy tagging me? And the next thing you know, you've clicked over into my feed and you start reading my feed. There's a whole system behind it. It's just a matter of when you start doing these things, it's not a matter if you're going to get knocked off. You're going to get knocked off, and then you just have to start over again. So
yeah. The second question I had was all about, how do you scale this? So what do you specifically do to help train a VA, and what do you give them so they can take either a theme or a keyword and go off and build their own content, so you're not the one daily doing that?
So number one, next week, I've already talked to them. I'm going to have one of the owners of the VA agency / digital agency come on next week and talk about that with you guys. I could tell you how I do it. Next week, I'm going to have Jeff come on and talk about it. He's been doing marketing for 40 plus years. He runs a VA agency out of Manila. And he'll come on and tell you everything he does. Now, what I do is totally different. It's similar to what Jeff does. But basically I hire people. Like when I first started, I have one specific guy. He went to school. He has an engineering degree, and then he has other friends or batchmates, fellow batchmates or fellow graduates, if you will, that he knows, friends that are like him. So who do you want to work with is people like yourself. He brings them in, we train them for a few weeks on a specific task, and I give them my SOP and, here's how I do everything, and then they follow it to a T. Then also I have a project manager. Obviously, none of y'all live over here except for, I believe, one or two of you, one of which will be speaking next week. So, I mean, it's not really going to be something you're going to be able to do unless you live over here. I know a couple of people in here live in Thailand and some other places, and it makes it easier. But even that, you still have to go in and train them yourself. Now, if you had a actual VA, let's say you went out and got your own VA, the easiest way that I could tell people that you're going to have to do it, A, it's not easy whatsoever. B, if you're going to do it, what I typically have done in the past is I go, okay, I'm going to hire these 5. I'm going to put an ad out. I put the ad out, and then I go, I have those, and I'll put these ridiculous ads out that will say, make sure you email me your resume, about yourself, and use the subject line Bugs Bunny. Because let's say I'll get 100 replies, and maybe one person will use the term Bugs Bunny. And the reason I want to do that is I want to say, can you follow directions? Step 1. Then step 2, I want a video of yourself telling me about yourself. Why should I hire you? What about you? What's your family like? You got kids. I want to know about you. That sort of thing. And then, for instance, if it's a graphic designer, I'd give them a job and say, you're going to design a graphic, or a logo. Or if you're a video person, I want to see what you're capable of. An SEO person that has supposed SEO experience, I always go, well, give me for instance, I say, I want to see some work you've done. I want to see clients you're with. I want their phone numbers. I want stuff I can actually look at. I don't want to hear, well, I'm sorry, sir, I have a non-disclosure act and I can't share anything with you. And because people use that to basically just, it's a front. It's really an excuse to say, hey, I really have no experience. I don't want to share with you my experience because I'm not really experienced. I'm begging you to give me a chance. Then with an SEO, it's a lot harder because you can't just go, hey, let me test you out on, my clients, because you could do that and then you can get really screwed over. If you're going to test an SEO out, you almost have to have a dummy site and see, for example, I'm going to set up not a dummy site, but let's say a rank and rent, or just, hey, I went out and bought an expired domain name, Winnipeg, Canada, electrician, and I want to test you and see how good you are. What do you do? How do you rank it? I don't want to show you how I rank it because I know my method works. I want to see what you would do. That's one method you could do for an SEO person. But with mine, I go, well, here's my schooling, here's my SOP, and you go through it step by step by step by step by step by step. And then I'm also here. So if they ever have any questions, anything ever comes up, I use Asana and we have constant communication. They can say, hey, I can't get rid of this error. This technical SEO error won't go away. What do we do about it? And I can answer it. So, but Jeff will be talking about that next week with VAs and stuff. And he dropped it in here. It's VA post, you know, for VAs, and he has all that, but go ahead.
Just wondering if you have a sample of a SOP that you could be willing to share, just as an example.
No, I'll let him go through that next week. I just don't give away any of it. I mean, honestly, if you want to know what my SOP is for SEO, it's this class. It's what it is. But this class, you're getting social media, you're getting everything. Social media, backlinking, SEO, even some of the Facebook stuff, all of it. You're getting more than I would give to one. Like a VA would be, okay, you're just going to do press. Like with me, you're only going to do press releases. That's it. You're going to do just GMB. You're just going to do backlinking. But then again, have some of them will go a little bit of everything. VA will do some web edits as well as some SEO. That way I'm trying to make the VAs a lot like myself, in which I know web and SEO. So I'm talking big. Yes, Sherry?
Yeah, hi. Just a question on how often can you repeat the post?
Same post, yeah, same content.
Can you repeat the post?
Personally, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, you can, but personally, I wouldn't do it. For me, I'm doing clients in specific. If it's your own business, do whatever you want. But if it's for my clients, nothing's repeated unless it's older than 30 days. Because you don't. I don't want to post. Let's say, for example, come get a Clearly Eye Care. This image, this text, this link, and then post it 2 weeks from now, and then the client sees it. And it's like, why are you posting the same shit you posted 2 weeks ago?
You think it looks bad?
It's just most clients are going to be like, listen, I'm paying you this amount of money a month to actually do work. What are you actually working on? I just know the way they are, so the more work you can show, the more they think they go, oh, you're actually doing, you're actually posting new posts every day. I'm not, because what will happen, and I can guarantee you this, if you go on there and you say, hey, I'm going to post the same thing this week and next week, or even 2 weeks from now, they're going to go, well, I can do the same thing, Sherry. Why am I paying you? I can pay my 13-year-old to do that.
So other than the client not loving it, but Google itself doesn't really care. It's not going to hurt you.
No, I haven't seen it matter. So it's just the client mainly.
And how do you come up with the content to like constantly be posting every day something unique?
Did you go through, I'm just asking, not saying you didn't, but did you go through the core class in which I mentioned the GMB and question and answers software?
I thought oh yeah, the question and answer software. It's a plugin, you said,
yep,
right?
It's a software, and basically, for instance, if I put in there glaucoma,
right.
It will shoot out, let's say, 100 different questions about glaucoma, and I can take those 100 different questions and make content based upon those questions.
So you don't, So also like answer the public also is good for that. Yeah.
All that stuff. So
I was using that for blog ideas, but I guess
you use those for blog ideas, and think of it this way: a blog is just a long sales letter, and your post should be snippets of that blog. So what you're going to do is those snippets are going to then redirect to the blog, the full blog, or what we call micro content. You take a really long blog, or let's say a really long video, and Gary Vee talks about this a lot, is where you take that and then you break it up into micro content. You break it up into micro content, and Ping Jun and a lot of these other guys do the same thing, because a lot of people with content, it's like, how do I make so much content, to be able to post every day? And it's really just take a couple hours a week, and then you take that hour a week and create all your content, and then you micro it down. So any other questions? Just let me know, raise your hand, because we're going to get off here shortly. Go ahead, Harley.
This isn't on this subject, but when you were talking on when you're building your website and you have the About Us, I forgot what you said. Don't use the About Us. Do something else.
No, all I'm saying is, if let's say if I was a power washing company, I would use something like my About Us page would be named something like Best Power Washing Company in Tampa. The short URL. When I say URL, for instance, if the name of your company is, it's how you structure your layout of your website. It's still the About Us page. It's still called About Us in the menu, but the URL in short, permalink, it would be called, for instance, Best Power Washing Company in Fort Lauderdale or Tampa. Or I believe you're in Tampa, but something like that, instead of just going About Us. And that's only if you don't have the term, your location or power wash in your actual domain name. If you already have it in your domain